It's the George Plaster Show. 30 years of the best sports talk in Middle Tennessee. Featuring Tennessee Sports Hall of Famer Watson Brown. And it's a shame it's taken this long to get an introduction for this Tennessee Sports Hall of Famer, Kelly Holcomb, along with young gun Billy Derrick. And now, here's your host, George Plaster.
Hello again, everybody. Welcome in. It is a beautiful Monday afternoon in Nashville, Tennessee, although there is some rain coming, supposedly, so beware of that. Got a good show for you today. Why don't we start off? And by the way, we think we know what may be causing it to look like I'm coming out of Mammoth Cave. And in the next couple of days, we'll try to get that fixed. Kelly Holcomb is in Murfreesboro with better lighting. Kelly, how are you?
George, I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I'm good. Good. Had a pretty crazy weekend. So in the Greek Orthodox Church, Greek is very similar to Catholic. And our Easter week was last week. Thus, last Friday was Good Friday. Easter was yesterday. So some friends invited me over for a huge Easter dinner deal. And then I ended up meeting up with Will Perdue, Barry Goheen, Barry Booker, Glenn Clem, Steve Reese. Our group got together last night, and I didn't need any more food.
What did you do, George?
I had a Caesar salad. Just being
That's not
perfectly
bad.
honest. No.
That's not bad. I like Caesar salads.
As is the case when this group gets together, you better check your ego at the door.
A lot of storytelling, I'm sure.
A lot of storytelling in any time. A lot of C.M. Newton stories last night.
Yeah, but those are friends that kind of call you out when you're feeding a bunch of BS.
Oh, absolutely. And
Yeah.
and there's stuff I could tell you because every last one of us at some point gets put on the griddle.
Yeah.
And it's hilarious to see when it's your turn who goes on the attack. I mean, Will Perdue's one of the closest friends I have in the world. But when he can pin me against the wall, man, he is on the attack.
He's on the attack. I like it.
It's a group. I was only, Kelly, about 4 years older than them. I was their color announcer. And they were all, I was a year and a half out of school. And it's an unusual deal that doesn't happen very often. But we've all stayed very close over the years. We probably get together 2 or 3 times a year for dinner. And it is always something to look forward to. And you know it. I mean, you've got teammates that, you enjoy being around. And that's one of the beauties of sports is that does happen.
Yeah, it's funny when you get around guys that you know like that and you hadn't seen them in a long time and you just pick up right where you left off. It's pretty cool.
The first year that I did the bowling thing, Will got this group all together. Some were celebs, some were lousy bowlers. And then at my Tennessee Radio Hall of Fame induction, they were all there. And I made them all stand up. And I said, they're not the smartest group. I said, but they are truly the tallest group that's ever been to this thing. And so, it's just, it's one of the great things in sports is the people you end up coming in contact with. I never would have dreamed at 23 years old that all these years later, we would still be getting together and talking the same load of bull.
Yeah, that is a long time, George. That's about 60 years for you, ain't it?
No, it is not. Move on. That's so unprofessional on your end.
So bad. Yeah.
You know
well,
what?
if people are listening now, they know how unprofessional I am until we get to Billy, and then we know how really unprofessional he is.
I've got a new mic for you. Doesn't plug in. That'd be perfect for you. Yes, Billy.
Like
do you have an update in our future?
I do have an update in our future.
Does it have any meat on the bone? Because Lori wants it to be a good update.
Yeah, Lori attaches her name to this. It's going to be special. I mean, very professional,
whatever.
As Kelly would say. But it is brought to you by Lori Burnett Leland. You can visit her online at mortgageladieusa.com. I guess we got to get into the Preds. Their season ended, of course, Friday night. We did not have a show Friday, so we weren't able to preview it. I mean, we did throughout the week, but razor thin margins. I mean, they lose 1-0 late there. Pius Suter scored the goal. That's all it was going to take. And after the game, Andrew Burnett, one play was going to make the difference, and they made the play.
So, Kelly, I want you to know this. Because it was Good Friday in our church, I don't go. I instead sell my tickets to Billy at a very reduced rate. Do you
really
think he thought to pay me today?
Just take it out of his check, big dog. That's how you work. That's how you work that.
To be fair, I said.
To be fair, what?
Late last week, I said I can come by and deliver.
Right. You live in Bardstown, Kentucky. I wasn't going to have you drive all that way. I would have hoped that you would have thought, George did me a solid, so I'm going to acknowledge that and pay quickly with alacrity.
You ought to know that Billy is a snotty-nosed little punk. He's not going to pay you until you strap him down and say, "I want my money." Do I
have to send you an invoice?
Yeah, just take it out of my next paycheck.
No, we're not doing that because we're not sure it'll cash anyway.
But no, that was a blast. Had some fun with some of your buddies. I mean, it was a great atmosphere. I mean,
right.
Third period, I thought we were going to will them to victory, but that was a dagger.
Kelly, here's what I've learned: some birds got in my garage, and one of the people sitting next to Billy was the person I called to get the birds the hell out of the garage, and they come flying by me. That's like bats, and I didn't want any part of that.
You can't get them out of the garage, George?
Well, we got them out.
How about you?
Well,
like when that happens at my house, I'm the one that they call.
Yeah, I needed some assistance.
When the dog creeps on the floor, I'm the one they call. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, well, now that's a different deal. So Billy tells me over the weekend that this whole incident with the birds got discussed Friday night.
Yes, it did, and there might have been a wash rag and the hand towel involved.
Oh, that's wonderful.
I was like, I'm.
So you had no part of it.
Oh,
you had no part in getting these birds.
No, not really.
Are you scared? Are you scared of birds, George?
Yeah, when they come flying by you and stuff, it's kind of creepy.
What kind of birds were they?
Birds.
I don't know, but what kind?
I don't know.
Were they robins? Were they finches? What were they?
I don't know. Okay, I'm being honest.
Gosh.
I don't know.
I mean, George,
I know that I didn't want them.
I mean, it's your house. Get them out.
Or shut your back door.
I can't really. No, they got in. We now know how they got in, and we have eliminated that problem.
Oh, good. So the birds are out.
Yeah.
The worst is when you get a hummingbird in there and you can't get them out.
Oh.
Because they fly to the top and just keep hitting the top and keep hitting the top. And like, you idiot, I've opened both garages. How about fly out, Hoss?
Do you think this is why Lori sponsored this segment?
Certainly not.
No.
She doesn't want bird talk.
I didn't think so.
But we had a Game 7 last night. That was awesome. It was another low scoring.
I watched a little bit. How about that?
Can I editorialize for just a minute?
Goodness.
This is aimed at Channel 2. What the hell? I want to watch Game 7 of the Cavaliers in Orlando. Started at noon yesterday. Channel 2 elected to show me in the first hour Ocean Mysteries. Do you think I give a damn about Ocean Mysteries while Donovan Mitchell? Come on. I want to see the game. I don't want to see it at 1 o'clock. I want to see the full game.
So people want to watch Ocean Mysteries, George.
Great.
Not everybody's sports crazy in our
Put it on
country,
at 7 in the morning.
The Cavs did indeed win Game 7
how
yesterday.
much can you learn about algae and plankton?
Good Lord.
A lot.
This has gone off the rails.
It has. What do you got?
I was going to say the Cavs won.
Yes,
Yesterday,
they did.
Donovan Mitchell
is a stud.
39 points.
He's good.
Paolo
he was a
Banchero.
big stud dog.
Yeah, Banchero did all he could, too. He had a 38. Darius Garland had a good game, too. Hit some
he
big
really
shots.
did not have a good game.
Well, he hit some big shots that they needed.
One big shot that was needed. Other than
that shot in the corner, I'll say.
Yeah.
I mean, without
than that, it was Donovan Mitchell by himself.
Yeah,
Go Cavs.
He carried them, and that was in Cleveland, correct?
Yeah.
So that's been a home and home series, and the home team, I think, won every game, right?
Home team won them all.
He had Game 7 in the NHL, too. The Stars beat the Golden Knights 2-1. So Dallas moves on, and that was harder than I think a lot of us thought, although both teams probably could be in the next round at this point.
And we're going to talk about the playoffs in a little while. The level of pressure that you could feel in the arena in Boston Saturday night. The Bruins won more games than any team in regular season history a year ago and didn't get out of the first round. And now all of a sudden, Toronto got them into a 3-3 series deal. Toronto led 1-0 with 7 minutes left in the game, and you could have heard a pin drop in that place. And then Boston tied it, sent it to OT, and won it in overtime. Watch now and see if Boston doesn't relax a little bit.
Well, the Maple Leafs can't get out of their own way in the playoffs.
No.
I mean, they've had a good team the last 4 or 5 years. They just haven't done anything in the playoffs. So the Bruins move on. They'll play the Panthers tonight for Game 1 of that series. Game 1 of another series was last night. Rangers beat the Canes 4-3. So Rangers take a 1-0 lead in that series. And we got to
hold on. Think about this for a second. Madison Square Garden. Okay. Rangers yesterday. Knicks tonight.
Yep.
Rangers tomorrow. Knicks Wednesday. Man, for a New York sports fan, it doesn't get much better than that.
No. And both teams, they're rocking. Do they have the organ for the Rangers too?
No, not like that.
Not double duty for the organ.
No, you watch tonight when they tip at 6:30 against the Pacers. First possession, he'll start that defense thing, and I'll be in there cheering with him. Go Knicks!
Go Knicks! So
as opposed to Bo Nix.
Yes. We've also got a piece of NHL news. The Jets coach, not the New York Jets, the Winnipeg Jets coach Rick Bowness has retired after 38 years in the NHL. So he spent 38 seasons behind an NHL bench. He is 69 years old. He's retiring after having one of the best years of his career. He led the Jets to a 52-win season, and they lost, of course, to the Avalanche in 5 games. So Rick Bowness calling it a career in the NHL. You mentioned tonight Pacers Knicks Game 1 at the Garden, 6:30. Also tonight T-Wolves and Nuggets. Game 2 of that series, Minnesota took down the Nuggets.
Let me tell you
something. In Game 1.
You were right, George.
Minnesota could win it all.
Yeah.
They are loaded.
They've got everything you need to beat the Nuggets. I mean, if
anybody's going to beat them in the West, it's Minnesota.
Yeah.
Minnesota went in there Saturday night and said, "We're your daddy."
Anthony Edwards? Is that guy good?
Player.
Is he any good?
He's really good.
Whew.
He more and more he feels like Jordan at a young age.
Yeah. I mean, he's carrying them. So, but they've also got a lot of really good pieces around them too. So the T-Wolves will try to make it 2-0 tonight, and that's been in Denver so far, right?
So far, Denver, this is must win tonight.
Yeah.
And we will have a play on that game.
Oh, really?
Yes, we will.
Stay tuned.
Shocking.
We've got some big college baseball stuff to talk about. Over the weekend, Vanderbilt gets swept in Athens for the first time since 2003 against Georgia, who is, they were ranked number 18. They're in the top 15 now. Lost on Sunday, 11-7. Vanderbilt is now in danger of missing the NCAA tournament for the first time since 2006. They hold the longest active NCAA tournament streak in the country at 17 straight seasons, making a regional. That could be snapped.
They feel like they're falling apart. So right now, are they projected as a 3 seed?
Well, they usually release those tomorrow. Okay. So the latest D1 baseball. I would guess they're a 3 seed right now. And if it started right now, they're on the bubble. I mean, they're right there on the bubble, which
because
is crazy.
All the 4 seeds are things like FAU and
mid-major conference
Prairie, Midwestern Tech.
Yeah. But the next 2 weekends, you got Tennessee in Nashville this weekend, and then at number 4, Kentucky. Tennessee's now number 1. Kentucky's number 4 in the country. So they're going to be fighting for their season this weekend and next weekend.
Against really tough competition.
Yeah. And against historically teams that they don't have much trouble with under Tim Corbin. I mean, Tennessee and Kentucky, other than the last 4 or 5 seasons.
Yeah, but this is not.
It's not your.
This is not the Tennessee and Kentucky.
No.
How in the world, Billy? How in the world did Lipscomb beat UT?
It's a midweek game. You never know. That was exam week for Tennessee. That just happens sometimes in baseball, especially.
I know. Baseball, man. Crazy.
And both sides throw.
And Lipscomb's good. I mean,
yeah. And both sides throw pitchers that you're not going to see start in conference play.
Yeah. And that's a park where, you lift some out of there, you get hot, at the plate, maybe the wind's blowing out, it can be dangerous for both teams playing there. So, but yeah, that was a stunner, but Tennessee bounced back. They beat Florida. They took 2 out of 3 from Florida. They had to play a doubleheader on Friday. They won game 1. They lost game 2 of that doubleheader, and then they won 16-3 yesterday over Florida. Hunter Ensley was 3 for 4 with 7 RBIs, and now they keep pace with Kentucky in the SEC East standing. So it'll be a battle these last couple of weeks. Who wins the SEC East, Tennessee or Kentucky? So Vandy, Tennessee this weekend, though. So I'd say it'll be fun with Tony tomorrow. And Vanderbilt, I mean, was that on your bingo card? Vandy being unranked and Tennessee being the number 1 team in the country?
I don't know. Vandy's falling apart.
Yeah. But real quick, this just in, little NBA piece. Rudy Gobert for the Timberwolves. He's questionable for game 2 for Minnesota tonight after his first child was born.
Wow.
So
he is a mountain of a man.
He really is.
But the big guy, Naz Reid, went off Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he hits about a 28-foot bank shot. And that was when I kind of said, Minnesota might win this.
They're deep.
Yeah. They're pretty good.
It's a good team.
Okay, Guy, you're done?
Yeah, I was also going to say former Kentucky star Adu Thiero is headed to Arkansas with John Calipari. So Cal's slowly starting to form that team out there at Arkansas.
After the break, Guy will join us. We'll sort of end his coverage and get his opinions on where the Predators are going for next season. Because
where's UC going?
Barry Trotz has got some big decisions to make. We'll talk about it next.
It was the most horrible experience that any mother could ever go through. I knew that I needed to get help. My friend, she immediately said, "You need to call Bart Durham." And you guys were there within an hour. You guys are like family for us.
Yeah, sure is nice to connect with the people that you're doing your best to help.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonleyTimmons.com.
As some of you may already know, we're making some changes in our programming. Simply put, beginning Monday, May the 21st, and yes, that date did have to change, we will go into a 4 to 6 p.m. time slot to do this podcast, but we will also simulcast it on radio on 95.9 FM. And for those of you who watch in the Rutherford, Williamson County area, on 107.9 as well. The purpose of this is very simple. I want to be able to take phone calls. While I've enjoyed the podcast format, I have greatly missed the fact that I'm not able to talk to you all. And I don't feel like I have quite the pulse that I used to for that reason. If you go back through my 30 years as a broadcaster, I always enjoyed taking phone calls. I'm looking forward to getting back to that. So mark the date, Monday, May the 21st, 4 to 6 p.m., and thanks for all the support. Looking for more than just awards and trophies? Southern Trophy House is your one-stop solution. For over 60 years, their team has created lasting impressions with a personalized touch. From embroidery to screen-printed apparel to corporate awards, signs, and name badges, they have everything you need to keep your brand shining bright. With their knowledgeable customer service team, you can relax as they create, produce, pack, and ship merchandise and awards on time and on budget. That includes etched crystal awards, custom-cut acrylic, name badges, embroidered Richardson ball caps, banners, screen-printed T-shirts, laser-engraved Yeti cups, and knives. Recognize your hard-working team from Southern Trophy House, where they do their best to help you recognize your best. Located at 2705 Nolensville Pike in Nashville, give them a holler, 615-256-7295. Visit southerntrophy.com. Southern Trophy House, for all your personalization and recognition needs. Okay, I'm told we're in a little bit of a four-corner stall. We have not yet been able to reach Mark McGee, but he knows that he was going to be on today at 2:20, and my guess is here in a minute that we'll get him on. At least I hope so. So, with the Predators season over, Kelly, there's obviously a bunch of stuff to get into. One of them involves this picture. Mark's on? Okay, beautiful. Mark, how are you?
I'm okay. How y'all guys?
Good. Thank you. Thank you for taking the time. Got a lot of stuff to talk about, and this may go a little bit longer than normal, so bear with me, okay?
Okay.
Number one, what's your theory as to why they don't win at home?
Yeah, I don't know. I never heard much discussion about one way or the other, but there's some teams that don't do well at home. There's some teams that just don't play well at home. Dallas is struggling at home at times this year, and some other teams as well. I know it, but I don't know what the reason for that is. I can't put a finger on it. I'm like you said earlier a couple of weeks ago. They should be fired up to be playing at home in front of people who gave good money to see them play. It should be, and they're excited about them. Like the other night, they stood up almost the whole game. try and do their best to to give your team an extra effort there. They should be able to win at home, and at least give those fans something to cheer about even more. And I just don't understand the reason for it. I really don't. What's your theory on it?
I don't have one.
I don't know that anybody does. I haven't heard anybody talk about it much at all, really. I've just not heard any discussion either inside Nashville or outside Nashville about it.
Early in the season, they got blown out way too many times at home. And it was like every time we'd come to the arena, you didn't know what you were getting. That all solidified, especially during the whole run. But then in the Vancouver series, they're 0-3 at home. And I would, whether it's the NBA or the NHL, you go 0-3 at home, you're not going to win.
Especially when you go 2 of 21 on the power play as well. No, neither one of those is good.
So let me put maybe a little bit of a bow on the series that just ended. To me, the frustrating thing is that I don't think the gap between Vancouver and Nashville is all that big. But anytime a play needed to be made or had to be made, Vancouver did, Preds did not.
Exactly. Yeah, I've said from the beginning that Vancouver and Nashville were very similar and very close in skill levels. But like you said, when the play had to be made, Vancouver was making it.
So I want to go with a series of what's next kind of things with you, because I think I've heard Barry Trotz say something to the effect of, we may have to take a step back to take a significant step forward. Do you think that's true?
Well, I think what he's basing it on, what a lot of people are basing it on, is whether or not they trade Houston Stars or not. A lot of people feel like possibly because Yaroslav Askarov has only played a couple of NHL games. A lot of people are thinking that maybe they do get rid of UC and that maybe the goaltending situation, which caused a lot of people problems this year with other teams, maybe the goaltending situation becomes a little bit different for Nashville. And it's a matter of how much Askarov, how much of a learning curve he has to have to play in the NHL almost every night. I think that's where people are looking at that if they do get rid of UC, that maybe there is going to be a step back. And I think that's what they're basing that on.
Okay, let me try it this way. If they don't trade UC, how do they get better?
Well, hopefully Barry gets lucky in the free agent market again this year, like he did this past year, because of the couple of good picks, especially at the center position. They need a good center. And if I was just, if I had my Christmas list out and to say this is who I want, I'm looking down Tampa Bay right now at Steven Stamkos. They've got the money to pay him, and I would think he's going to be an unrestricted free agent. I would be real excited if they went after him. I think he could be a huge boost to the team. He's a left wing and a center both, and he also can do it all. And I think he's a little upset with Tampa for not really showing a lot of excitement about signing him up again. So that could be a little problem there from that standpoint. But I think he's got to find somebody like that to make a difference. And I don't think you can go after any more. You can go after a depth player, but you got to go after the depth player that's going to be able to add some goals and points to the list there, because that was a real problem. The depth of the offense was, especially at the center position. They really need another center, at least one. Be nice to have two more to really bolster that position.
So the Steven Stamkos rumor has been flying wildly amongst Predator fans now for a while. And there's certainly reason to believe that a Barry Trotz could also use Ryan McDonough to be a lead recruiter and say, hey, my 2 years here have been great, blah, blah, blah. The fans are terrific. You're pissed off at Tampa. Come on up here. Guy, if they were to get Stamkos, what do they become because of that, in your opinion?
They become even more stronger offensively. They've already shown that they can play offense. But this bolsters some. This really would bolster the offense quite a bit. I mean, it might cause a shift. I mean, does Stamkos become a second line center? I don't know. Do they keep him as a left winger and maybe not Nyquist down to second line? There's all kinds of options there, but the scoring depth that he could provide would really. I mean, Andrew Brunette's all about offense, and this would really truly be a perfect marriage between Brunette's philosophy and the talent level to make that work.
Here's where I need your help a little bit, because I spouted out something Saturday on the show you do out of the Shelbyville, Tullahoma area. And then I got to thinking about it, and I was like, okay, am I being fair here? I made the comment on your show that if we're being honest about the Preds roster, there are too many fourth-line players, not first line, not second line, but a lot of fourth-line guys who are marginal NHL players at best. And then I got to thinking, does every team in the league have this problem? Talk to me about that.
I think most teams do to some extent. I think all teams would like to have more depth from a scoring standpoint. I don't think you've got guys on the national team that can score. They just weren't scoring consistently. You've got some talented players like Luke Evangelista, who's just finished his rookie year. He's going to just go get constantly better. Thomas Novak, who's a unrestricted free agent, going to be time to sign him back up. He's under the $800,000 beginning salary right now. So he has the potential to really be a strong offensive player for them. But I don't know that it's completely fair to say that, but I think that they do. It's not that they don't have some talent to those positions. It's just that they aren't really producing the way they should for whatever reasons, and that whether it's mental, physical, or what. But I mean, Brunette's offensive approach should be perfect for the forward positions, and even for the defensemen, because they have to be more offensively minded. But still, it should offer them a situation also. So it'll be interesting to see, what happens from that standpoint. But I don't. There's not really. I mean, there's not really that much that they're going to try. I think they're going to try to get rid of right now. So, but they're in good shape. I think I forgot what the cap number is that they've got, but I think they're in good shape. They could sign a Steven Stamkos without much of a problem. There's talk, that. There's talk about, from a trade standpoint, there's talk that Toronto might be really interested. And some people you talk to up there say, well, we really want him. And some people up there say, no, we don't really need him. And so it's kind of a back and forth thing. And there's been but what I'm hearing is that if Toronto could offer a pretty good package, but part of the package the Predators might have to offer is a Ryan McDonough. And I just don't think that's a good deal. As for what you might get back. New Jersey's up there. They've been talking. New Jersey's been in the rumor mill since the trade deadline. The Los Angeles Kings could really use a goaltender. They score a lot of goals, but they also give up a lot of goals, and they could use another goaltender. I don't know whether you want to trade him to somebody in your conference. But the Detroit Red Wings are also searching for. Excuse me, I've said that about the Kings. Detroit Red Wings score a lot of goals, but they give up a lot of goals. And I think they could really use another goaltender as well. So, and they've got a lot of young talent, a lot of young prospects that they could, talented prospects that they could put into a package. But I really, it's going to have to be one great package before I think Barry makes a decision. And really, frankly, Barry's only this is his second off season, and this is going to be the toughest decision he makes, whether he keeps him or doesn't keep him. It's a tough call for any general manager to make. But it's going to be a really tough one for Barry to decide what is he going to do there.
Guy, I want to hit you with one last thing that some people, when they hear this, is going to say, well, this is George making excuses, or this is a cop-out. But hear me out, because I think it's fact. Number one, The year the Preds made it all the way to the Stanley Cup final, the road teams were Chicago, St. Louis, Anaheim. Now, where am I going with this? I believe what I saw Friday night when I got home was a Preds team that looked out of gas early in the third period. They looked dead on their feet. And you think of the travel, they are at such a total disadvantage being in the West in the level of travel. If they draw in a playoff series, a Vancouver, an Edmonton, an LA Kings, an Anaheim, they have 5 times more travel than any Eastern Conference team would have. To me, that's completely unfair.
Well, I agree from that standpoint. I mean, yeah, they obviously were worn down in the third period for sure. But Vancouver made the same flight.
Wait a minute. They had one less flight, though, which they earned with a better record. I'm just saying that if they were, you may disagree. I thought they were dead on their feet early in the third period. This is just the first series. Had they won, they would have ended up in Edmonton. And I don't think that's a recipe where you can make a deep run. And I don't think it's anything but fact that the year they did make the run, they had easy travel at Chicago, at St. Louis.
True, that's true. Yeah, we talked about that maybe before the series began. That how big a deal was going to be to make that flight to Vancouver and back. And like I said, Edmonton would have been the next one up, and that would have been if just as long, if not longer. I think. I don't know, but yeah, I mean, they definitely were worn out in the third period. I guess Friday night, there was no doubt about that. Those skates got real heavy in that third period. So they perked up a little bit toward the end, but it was just too little too late from that standpoint. No, yeah, it is unfair. Something might happen because I don't think they moved Nashville to the East, and I'm not sure that's a real plus either with the talent in the Eastern Division.
Right.
But I think that where's the Salt Lake fit in?
I'm assuming where Phoenix did.
Well, yeah, but a lot of people are thinking maybe they should be in the Pacific Division.
Okay, and some flip-flopping through that. Yeah, I get where you're coming from. So, Kelly, I haven't left you. Feel free, take all the time you want. I've asked a ton of questions.
I know, but Guy did a good job of answering all my questions. I'm like, good gracious, he's answering all the questions that I had for him. I want to know this, and George, you could get in on this too. And I kind of asked this last week, but at the beginning of the year, new coaching staff, new general manager, we didn't know what was going to happen. Do you guys think this is a positive? Would you have taken the season that they had? Because I don't think any of us or any of you guys, I was just now getting into it. I don't think any of you guys thought that they were playoff material. There was always, you weren't quite sure. You thought we may, but the 18-point, deal that they had during the season to get themselves in the playoff run. Do y'all think that was a successful season for Andrew Burnett's first season and Barry Trotz's first season at the helm?
Let me start this because I threw this out on Guy's show Saturday. First of all, they totally overachieved to get here. Now, if I'm the Preds front office, one of the things that worries me used to be a huge asset, downtown arena. I think downtown's turned into a freak show. We all know it. And I think there are certain nights where if somebody sees a cloud in the sky, they're like, I don't really want to fight the hassle of what's going on in downtown. There are no parking meters anymore. It costs out the butt to park. And I think that's hurting the Predators crowd-wise. Guy, you take it and run wherever you want to with it.
Yeah, I think you're right with that because, I mean, it's just you start thinking, where will I park my car? And it's just, I noticed this going back even 3 or 4 years ago. not necessarily going to select events, but going to some special events that were held at some of the establishments at Lower Broadway, and find a parking place that didn't cost you an arm and a leg was impossible to do. And that's, so something's got to give there along the way. And I know it's like the Predators, you can get the package with them where you get parking. I guess that saves a little bit. I don't know, but you look back at our Atlanta Braves parking there, even though they're out away from the downtown area now, their parking's outrageous.
Yeah, and forget the concept of watching on TV. I want to thank Comcast for that. But okay, so Kelly asked a really good question. We would have taken what happened this year and never played because it's better than what we thought it would be, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, there's no doubt. Yeah, this was beyond expectations. I mean, because of the way, really, because what Kelly just said, had a new coach, new GM, and some new players that were going to be at your core, like Ron O'Reilly and Gus Nyquist. And so, who knew what was going to happen? Who knew that Philip Forsberg was going to be able to play with Ron O'Reilly so well? Ron O'Reilly was going to be such a boost to him. He has a record year. Who knew that was going to happen? But also, who knew that UC Saros was going to struggle for most of the year and put together his worst statistics ever? I think he had 908 save percentage regular season. So, who knew these things were going to happen? And that's true with any team. But the newness of this team was the real question mark. You were hoping, based on Andrew Brunette's background, that he would be able to turn some stuff around. Because I know right now the New Jersey Devils would love to have Andrew Brunette back. And I'm like you, George. I would have taken this, not worried about it. I mean, I said, okay, we're done. This is good.
So Guy, let me ask you this. Y'all talked about some of the players, and you talked about, trying to keep some players, but who on the roster? Every year in professional sports, you have free agency now, and you're going to lose guys, you're going to gain guys. But at this point right now, if you're looking at the roster, who are they going to lose for sure? And is it any significant player that they're going to lose?
I think Tyson Berry. I mean, I think Berry has been, he's been wanting to leave for a long time here. So I think they're going to do what they can to get him out there. He's got $4.5 million salary, so it'd be nice to let him go on. He's an unrestricted free agent. Alexander Carrier, I think they need to try to sign him. They just try to sign him back. He's at $2.5 million this year, but he's going to need a boost. And if they do trade Saros and bring Askarov in, they're going to need an experienced backup. And like I said, everybody's looking for goalies right now. And so they did re-sign Kevin Lankinen, who was making $2 million this past year. They need to re-sign him. Thomas Novak, I think you need to re-sign him. Kiefer Sherwood, yeah, maybe Mark Jankowski. You could lose him right now from that standpoint. And Cole Smith, you lose him, I think. But I mean, there's not really anybody huge that's waiting right now. They've taken care of most of that. UC Saros is going to have an extension. He's making $5 million, which is a big bargain. He's shooting for $8 or $9 million, probably in a 4 or 5 year contract.
So let me ask you this. So I know you said something about the salary cap, and we saw just what the salary cap can do to an organization. You take the Tennessee Titans right here in our backyard. They had $95 million to spend, and they totally overhauled their team. And I think you're going to see the production of the team, go way up this year from where it has been. But do you know how much they have in salary cap room to sign guys?
I'm not really sure right now. I'm not checked that the late. I'm not sure exactly what it is right now, but they do have a surplus that they can go on. They're not like a lot of teams. They're not going to have to do anything from that standpoint. As far as if they want to sign somebody like a Steven Stamkos, they can do it.
Yeah, Kelly, the Preds, they're going to have what is called a modest cap space in 2024.
Okay.
How cap space, however, could be an issue. They're going to go into the 2024 offseason with roughly $16.8 million, which is 18th most in the NHL. So kind of middle of the road,
Gotcha.
but not top half.
Gotcha.
Which take that as you wish.
But definitely
Yeah, I got you.
enough to go get
to be dangerous. Yeah.
a big number 2 scorer.
Right.
Anyway, sorry about that, Kelly.
Well, my last thing is this. I'm going to ask you a question about the Vancouver Canucks. If you're their head coach, they lost their starting goalie. Their second string goalie's out. Their third string goalie came in, Shelovs, and he played really well. So now you're in about if you're the coach of the Vancouver Canucks, do you still go with the hot hand, or what do you do there, Guy?
I think go with the hot hand. I know sure Demkos is coming back anytime soon. I haven't heard any more. They say he was week to week, and I'm not sure when he comes back. So, or if he comes back during the playoffs at all. So, yeah, this guy's doing well. He's playing. He's faced every challenge so far, and I think you keep him in there. I don't think you have a choice on that from that standpoint. So, it's on you. I think there's not many teams. They may be the only teams that I think there's 3 different goalies win in the first round series.
And my last thing here, and I'll turn it back over to George. And I know what you're going to say on this, but like as a Predators fan, do you feel really good about where the organization's going right now? I mean, we just talked about the success they have with these guys at the helm with their first year coming up. They made some unbelievable moves. They were not going anywhere soon, and Barry Trotz got on the phone and brought some guys in. They started winning. They got to the playoffs. As a fan, how do you feel about where the organization's headed right now?
Well, I feel good about it now. This, like I said, maybe with Saros is traded, maybe they take a little bit of a step back but I've got a lot of confidence in Askarov. I mean, he's right in the middle of Calder Cup right now with Milwaukee, and if he wins that coming in, I mean, he will have a great confidence boost for him from that standpoint. So, but I don't think they take a huge step back if they lose Saros because they trade him. They should get the assets they need. If they can come up with a good free agent like a Stamkos, which would be wonderful, then I think you've got a team to be reckoned with next year. Central Division is always going to be tough. I mean, it's been that way from the beginning, from the Predators got in that division. It's always going to be a tough division, and Chicago's not going to be bad forever. They're going to get another high draft pick coming up. They got the number 1 last year. They got another high one this time, so they're going to be building themselves back up. And the rest of the teams in the league are all. Look how competitive it was in the first 4 spots. For the playoffs. I mean, it's a tough division. And who knows what the Coyotes do now? They're going to become the Utah Hockey Club, or whatever they're going to call them. Who knows what they do in a new location? And so it's hard to say. I mean, it's a really, really tough division.
Guy, thank you not only for coming on today, but throughout the entire year. You've given us great coverage. I love the fact you don't sugarcoat. You just tell us exactly how you really feel, and I really appreciate you doing this.
Well, thank you, George. I appreciate you letting me do it. Hope we do it again next year.
We will. Absolutely. Mark, thank you.
Thank you. All right.
Mark McGee joining us to talk Predators. After the break, I'll give you a stat of the day that may be better than the stat of the day. It involves the Predators. You will hear it in just a moment.
Hit After Hit has become the baseball store in Tennessee. They have over 1,000 different models of gloves and over 1,500 wood bats. They also have several Iron Mike pitching machines as well as a Hit Tracks machine. If they don't have it, you probably don't need it. We're proud to call Hit After Hit the official shirt provider of the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night.
Forget the fact that Sir Speedy Music City is owned by my BGA classmate James Warren. Their work stands on its own merit. James and his staff do incredible work, as evidenced by the huge banners at the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. If you're looking for quality to help your marketing and business communications, and you want it at a reasonable price, these are your folks. Call them at 615-832-9511 or go to print at sirspeedymusiccity.com. And be sure to tell them Plaz sent you.
Over the years, more men have started to seek help for hormone deficiencies and imbalances, and Dr. Jeffrey Lodge and wife Daphne, along with their experienced staff, give men the treatment required to improve their quality of life, improve your immune system, energy level, cognitive function, and more. There's no better time to achieve a healthy lifestyle. What are you waiting for? Give Cool Springs MD a call today for an appointment at 615-486-3458 or visit the website coolspringsmd.com.
For over 35 years, Wilson Bank & Trust has been committed to providing customized banking solutions to help individuals, families, and businesses in Tennessee achieve their goals. As your full-service community bank, we are proud to offer loans with competitive rates, local decision-making, and fast, friendly service from our experienced lenders. No matter where you are on your financial journey, Wilson Bank & Trust is ready to help you take the next step. Visit your nearest Wilson Bank & Trust office or online at wilsonbank.com to get started today. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Convenience and value, two words that we expect when we do business. Our goal at JHA Company is to deliver just that, both to our school partners and to our customers. Whether you're purchasing photos, yearbooks, class jewelry, letter jackets, school spirit wear, or senior graduation products, we strive to make the experience easy, convenient, and cost-effective. Find out more at jhacompany.com or call 615-867-6345 for more information. JHA, one source, one company.
Nashville, get ready for the greatest show on turf. Electrifying, high-octane, non-stop spring football action. Starting at only $30. Don't miss the season opener this April 27th at Municipal Auditorium.
Hi, I'm Jeff Fisher. The Nashville Cats are bringing arena football back to Nashville.
Grab your tickets now at thenashvillecats.com and be part of the action.
Okay, here's my contribution, Kelly, to stat of the day. Billy, you listen in on this.
All right.
The Predators have been in existence 25 years. And to their credit, if you think about who came in when they did, Colorado, what am I saying? Columbus, I think, came in when they did. The Preds have made the playoffs 16 times, but have only gotten out of the first round 5 times. So I believe that you're going to start, because I think the fans are a little restless about this. You know, for most of the years that they've gotten in the playoffs, they're usually a 7 or an 8 seed, barely get in, and lucky to be there. You know, of the 16 teams that get in, normally they're somewhere between 14th and 16th in power ratings. I think there is going to be sort of it's time to win a playoff series. They haven't won a playoff series, I believe, since they beat Colorado the year after the run to the Stanley Cup.
18, yeah. Right, or 17. Because the cup run was 16?
17.
17. Okay, so 18, yeah.
Is that right? Anyway, whenever it was. That's the last time they won a playoff series. It's been a while. And I think you're going to hear a lot of need to get past the first round. And that's hard. If it was easy, everybody'd do it. The other thing is the whole UC deal. Because there is sort of a take a step back if you trade him. The young guy may be really good, and there's a lot of reason to think he might be. But is he going to be at UC level from day one? Of course not.
I think you got the right guys in place, though, George. I really do. I just like Andrew Burnett's demeanor. Like he looks like he's obviously been there. He's been in the game for a long time. His demeanor, like he looks like he's a taskmaster. He looks like guys don't want to let him down. And with Barry Trotz being at the helm, who knows how to win, who won a Stanley Cup, and running your organization, I really do. I really think things are looking up, and I think you're going to get that, George. I really do. Now that's just me saying that from a novice fan, but I think that the pieces that Barry Trotz was the moves that he made during the season to get these guys where they were just to make the playoffs, and that was with a first-year head coach. I just think that things are looking up for the Preds, and I think you're going to exactly get what you're talking about. I think you're going to start winning series, and I think eventually, I don't know what's going to happen in the future, but I think eventually that guy right there and Barry Trotz will bring Nashville a Stanley Cup. I really do.
Is the question that they have to ask themselves is keeping UC worth it to still have an elite level goalie, as opposed to, we'll develop some of our scorers and we'll be fine offensively, or the other hand, we can afford to trade UC and get that another elite scorer, and does that take us over the edge? I mean, are they trying to ask themselves, what do we value more?
Oh, I'll guarantee you. And Barry Trotz and Andrew Burnett hold their end of the season press conference very late tomorrow afternoon.
4:00. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's a question that is rumbling through Barry's head, because I think it's the biggest decision that he is going to have to make for a while as GM. Now, I'm going to start yapping about this a little bit more. I think that all of the sports teams are now having the problem of the fans not wanting to go downtown. Downtown's a freak show. We can call it what we want to.
Truly a freak show, George.
I'll say they made a good move opening the gates up at 3:00.
They certainly did, and I applaud them for that. But what really is going on is that you're getting fleeced by the parking companies.
Yeah.
$46 for a friend of mine to park to go to the arena football game a week ago is absurd. It's price gouging. You can call it whatever the hell you want to call it. It's price gouging. And somewhere our city needs to do something to stop that, because people are using that excuse at times, in particular in midweek games, not to go. That's my opinion. You can disagree with it all you want. I will say this. I'm a season ticket holder. I'm there a lot. I see a lot and I hear a lot of it. And, somewhere we as a city are going to have to figure this out.
Completely agree.
I want to ask y'all another thing. Where does UC Soros, where does he fit in all the goalies of the league, all the starting goalies? Where is he ranked? What's his power ranking?
Well, he's a hard one to judge at times because he can be streaky. A year ago, he was absolutely, for about a 4-month period, the best goaltender in the league. This year, I would say that he seemed to get hot about the time they got hot.
Yeah.
He got to his A game in February and in March, and I thought for the most part in the playoffs he was brilliant. I would have put him in the top 4 in the league at that point.
Oh, really?
But,
okay.
Yeah.
like some goalies, he's streaky.
Yeah, he's one of the more athletic goalies. He's kind of a different style. He's the smallest goalie in the league.
Yeah, he's very big. I was just looking at that. Good gracious. He weighs like 183 pounds.
Yeah, but he's he's athletic. He can move really well. So he's a different style. But I do think that might get him in trouble occasionally, whether he's reaching too much or I don't know, just because he's not the biggest guy.
I'll take him any day of the week.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to nitpick UC Soros.
I mean, the only thing better would be the Walrus. That TV commercial is hilarious. That big old
That is
walrus. And
funny.
then at the end, when he wants to lay down, no sleeping.
That
Okay.
is funny, George.
Oh, I love it. After the break, we'll get to the real stat of the day, although I thought mine was pretty good.
I like it.
And then we'll check in on both the NBA and the NHL playoffs. There's a lot to talk about, and we will do it right after this.
Nashville Sounds Baseball is back in Hit City for the 2024 season. Spend your nights and weekends at the ballpark with weekly giveaways, fireworks shows, throwback deals, live music, and more. Top talent will take the field at First Horizon Park against the AAA Minnesota Twins, Baltimore Orioles, Atlanta Braves, St. Louis Cardinals, Cincinnati Reds, and more. Tickets start at just $10 and are available now at NashvilleSounds.com. We will see you in Hit City.
Venture Express has been helping people in this area for more than 40 years. They're headquartered in Murfreesboro with over 30 years of dedicated fleets involving production, manufacturing, and corrugated experiences. They're an asset-based company with over 700 tractors, 4,000 trailers, and 800 drivers. If you need their help, dial them up 615-793-9500 or log on to ventureexpress.com.
You were in a crash.
Yeah.
Your kids were in the car with you.
We're very lucky to even be telling this story to you. Nikki treated us like family, and she was very caring and loving, and I'm just so grateful for that. She was somebody I could trust, and being a veteran, that's so important to me. My kids are going to have a better life now because I don't have to worry about those expenses that we were out. Your family has really created a legacy of trust, and I would recommend you to anyone.
Star Physical Therapy was established in 1997 with one great mission: to serve. If you're hurting, don't wait to receive physical therapy. You don't need a referral to see their physical therapist, and early morning and evening appointments are available. Make the call to 615-673-1420 and get rid of that pain. Star Physical Therapy, the official health provider of Football Friday.
You know, starting to save for your future doesn't have to be difficult. Let Wilson Bank and Trust help tone up your financial goals this year. Our certificates of deposits or CDs can help your money work harder with our competitive rates, earning you more than ever before. WBT checking options allow you to earn rewards you can really use, like a high interest rate or cash back on check card purchases when you meet some e-banking qualifications. Visit your closest Wilson Bank and Trust office or online at wilsonbank.com to get started today. Member FDIC.
We're talking a little NHL and NBA playoffs coming up, but first, stat of the day brought to you by John English, Antique Sports and Cards out in Shelbyville. They're open during the week, Tuesday through Friday from noon to 5, and Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 5. Give them a call, 931-492-4304. All right, we're going NBA. We talked about this kid earlier. Anthony Edwards for the Timberwolves has become the second player at age 22 or younger to have consecutive 40-point games in the playoffs. Name the other player. Second player at age 22 or younger to have back-to-back 40-point games in the playoffs.
Okay, some obvious possibilities. Kelly, didn't Jordan have a 69-point game against the Celtics?
Yeah, I think it's either Jordan. Yeah, I think it's either Jordan, Kobe, or Kareem. May have been Lou Alcindor back in the day.
That's a good third one. Yeah, that's a good third one. Okay, what the heck? Let's put that up there. I'm willing to go. One of those three is bound to be it.
So no final answer?
It's one of the three.
Okay. I mean, if you,
that's what we're doing, Billy. Just put it up there.
Hold on a second. What is the name of the show?
The Billy Derrick Show.
No, it is not. I don't think it is. As long as it's got my name behind it, I'll make the rules.
Whatever.
Yeah, put it up there.
Kobe,
Yeah,
congratulations.
Kobe. Man, we lost him way too early.
Way too early.
Still
Absolutely.
Oh, sad.
It's crazy.
That was a wild day.
I know this. He was really good.
Yeah, he was.
So let's take a look. Let's start with the 4 NBA series that have now all reached the second thing. Billy, are we supposed to be able to read that?
Yeah, can you not read it?
Well, I can now.
You got glasses, right?
Yeah, early on it was.
I can't
Kelly-
read it very good, Billy. And I don't have glasses on, and I refuse to put them on, and I can't read it very good.
Well, maybe you should put
Okay.
your glasses on.
No, maybe you should get it bigger, tech guy.
You know, I'm right there with him.
Give me a
I'm
break.
supporting Kelly. So let's start with the one that begins tonight in Madison Square Garden. I will admit I've become kind of a Knicks fan because I love that crowd. But Kelly, I do think they're better than the Pacers.
Yeah, and I think it goes back to that old rivalry. I mean, we talked about it last week with Reggie Miller and Spike Lee and all that. I mean, that's just refueling this new thing. I do too. I think that Jalen Brunson guy's really good. He's probably got a little better supporting cast, although Pacer fever is crazy in Indianapolis, man. I've been there. They love basketball in that state, but I'm with you. I think the Knicks got a chance.
So the game's on TNT. Don't they have to put Reggie Miller on that
He's
series?
calling. Yeah, he's got to call that series.
He's got to. And then
I would think.
you know.
I mean, they'd be stupid not to.
Yeah, and then he and Spike Lee can choke each other.
Especially the games at MSG. He's got to. I mean, he's got to reunite with Spike Lee.
Yeah. So the PA announcer in Indy always. I've been to a couple of Pacer games. All right, Pacer people.
Pacer people.
Thank you, Pacer people. Okay. The other series in the East has got the Celtics as a 1 against the Cavs, who are a 4. And while I thoroughly enjoyed the Cavaliers' comeback yesterday, Donovan Mitchell was unbelievable. Unless Darius Garland takes his game to its best level, they have no chance against Boston.
Yeah, I don't like that matchup for Cleveland. I mean, Boston, you know, say Jimmy Butler plays for the Heat in that first round series, the Heat might be sitting here.
Right.
I mean, that's a tough first round matchup to play the Heat. I think this is an easier series for Boston. I could be eating my words, but I can't see Donovan Mitchell doing enough to take that even 6 games.
Kelly, I don't know if you heard it, but at the end of the game yesterday, the Cleveland crowd started, "We want Boston."
Oh, yeah. They better not say that because
Yeah, be
Boston is
careful
the
what you
best
wish
team
for.
in the East. Yeah, Boston's the best team in the East. They got so many playmakers. They're really good, and I don't even know if it matters if Darius Garland. I think you're right, George. He's got to play better, but like even if he does play good, I don't think if the Celtics are hitting on all cylinders, they can beat them.
When Porzingis got hurt, there was a lot of talk that, you know, the Celtics are in trouble now without their starting center. But it's funny, since their Game 5 win over Miami, they're 22-4. Or with that, they're 22-4 without Porzingis. So they've done just fine without him.
When is he supposed to come back?
I'm not sure. I mean, I've heard it could be extended.
Yeah. So Kelly, here's something I always think about. This has been near the end of the Derek Mason era, I think. I think I'm right about that. Vandy, at the end of a very emotional night where they've pulled kind of an upset at home in football to beat Kansas State, their players start mouthing off, "We want Bama."
Oh, gosh.
Well, the next week they got Bama to the tune of
Yeah, that's right.
59 to nothing.
Boat raced.
And in the
Yeah,
second half, they replaced the starting quarterback, Alabama did, with some guy named Tua.
Exactly. I can remember that too. It was, what was Jalen Hurts the one? He was the one starting at that point, was he not? Yeah, Jalen Hurts, and then I
Yeah.
remember Tua coming into the game, and they didn't miss a beat. So I'm like,
No.
yeah, just like Billy just said, you better not. Sometimes you wish for something, and you really don't want that. You don't like Alabama at that point was hitting on all cylinders, and they're really good. And I don't know. Yeah, I wouldn't want that. I would never say that about Alabama either. Good gracious.
I remember having Mac Hereford on one of the shows probably, few months, 3-4 months ago during football season, and I asked him about that. What was that show? I mean, obviously you guys had to show that, in the weight room, in the locker room before that game. He said, "Oh yeah, that was in the weight room all week, every day, all day." So I guarantee you the Celtics are doing the same.
Let's go out west. So we've got a 1 versus a 5, Oklahoma City against Luka Duka and the Mavs.
This is going to be good.
And there's a bunch of people out there that think the Mavs can beat OKC. Now, in fairness, the general public hadn't seen OKC a lot. They really get after it on defense.
But can Luka and Kyrie, can they do this and win 4 games in a series throughout a series? They're really good. And it was enough against the Clippers. But now you're playing the Thunder, the number 1 seed. Are they going to be able to do enough? Because they have a good team around it, but it's not a star-studded cast around Kyrie and Luka.
It's those two, and then at times a bunch of junk.
I mean, the Thunder, that's a deeper team. They're healthy.
But let me ask you this. Vegas is clearly nervous about that series.
Yeah.
Because they have Oklahoma City tomorrow night at home, only a 3.5-point favorite. That says that they believe Dallas could be in there for the long haul.
I think it's going to be a long series either way. And maybe the Mavs get a couple early on. But I don't know. It's going to be a good series.
Tell me what you think.
That Gilgeous-Alexander guy, the SGA guy, we talk about Anthony Edwards for Minnesota, but like for Oklahoma City, that dude can play, man. And he gets everybody involved. I like the Mavericks because I like Luka. I think he's a scorer. I think Kyrie's a scorer. I think they make it's kind of amazing that you got guys like that make it work, but they're the only ones on that team. And I think Billy just said it. I mean, OKC's pretty deep. So I think I'm kind of for the Mavericks because, like you said, I don't know much about the Thunder. You know more about the Mavericks, but out of all these series, you just want a good series that goes. I like them to go 7 games. I want to see the pressure on people during a 7 game. That's what I like. That was cool last night. I even watched the Dallas. And who they play last night? Vegas, the Vegas Knights and Dallas Stars. I ended up watching that dadgum game. I mean, y'all got me on to hockey now, and I tuned in at the end of the game, and I'm like, man, this is really exciting.
That was awesome.
I think, it was awesome. And I think if you get to a 7th game, man, that is where the true stars shine. And I just want all these series to be good.
Speaking of that, Dallas, I know we're going to get into the NHL, but that Dallas Vegas game late got pretty testy there in the last minute or two because Vegas got close there on a few of those chances.
So let's get down to the big one. The big one. Minnesota can go toe-to-toe with Denver and proved it Saturday night when they went to Denver to Ball Arena and balled out against the Nuggets.
Yep.
And one going away in the 4th quarter. Very tight game that they kind of blew open. They got a lot of weapons. First of all, we know how good Anthony Edwards is. Then all of a sudden, Naz Reid goes berserk, hits about a 25-footer off the glass while they're on that streak. Conley, the former Memphis Grizzly, great backcourt guy. And so you're sitting here as Denver, and in game 2, you're in a must win. They're not going to win this series if they lose tonight.
No,
I totally agree with you on that, George. That was quite shocking. You've been saying that, and I think it's like a lot of people hadn't seen the Timberwolves. It's just like the Thunder, but like when you kept saying that, I'm like, there's no way. And then you watch them play. And, like you said, they got Karl Anthony Towns who can score. They got Anthony Edwards, who's a ball player, the Nas kid. They got dudes that can play. So they are, I don't know. I think this is probably a must win for Denver, but, they're still the champions, and they still got guys that can play with Jokic and guys that can shoot the ball all over the place. They got Jamal Murray, who's kind of Mr. Clutch. So it's going to be a tough series. I think they do have to win, but I don't know if they necessarily have to win tonight. I think it's huge if they don't, because I think they're behind the 8 ball, but both these teams are really good.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Kelly. I mean, it does feel like a must win, but I think the Nuggets are good enough to battle back and
Right.
battle tested enough to, if they do lose tonight, maybe they go to Minnesota and something changes, which, I mean, it's weird to say that, but it does feel like you'd like to win tonight if you're the Nuggets. But to me, Jokic and Murray, that duo is so good. Can Edwards and Karl Anthony Towns do enough can they go back and forth with them? I mean, they did in game one, but I mean, there was, I don't want to say fluky, but that Naz Reid shot was,
The Nas Reid shot is,
I mean,
is ridiculous.
So we'll see. I think it's the battle, those duos battling it out. Who's going to be better?
Minnesota's got a lot of pieces. If you were to sit there and say to yourself, Boston's going to get out of the East, don't be shocked if Minnesota gets out of the West.
I can see it.
Now let's go to the NHL, shall we?
Let's do it.
Let's start in the East. And we've already had one game in the East. The Rangers won 4-3 against Carolina yesterday at Madison Square Garden. Carolina's really good. This is not going to be a cakewalk.
No. I mean, the Rangers and the Canes they've battled it out in the playoffs here the last several years. And I know the Canes. I know some Canes fans. I've actually been to a game up there, and they don't like the Rangers. They don't like the New York people coming down to Raleigh. I think this is going to be a long series, but you look at it, and the Rangers are just so good. I don't know if the Canes have enough. Obviously, they're going to have to win the games, the chances they get in Raleigh. But yeah, I like the Rangers here. I think it could be long though.
Sets up for a busy Madison Square Garden. Knicks tonight, Rangers tomorrow. Knicks Wednesday, Rangers on Thursday. Ooh, that group.
That's crazy.
That's pretty cool. Like if you think about that, that's really cool though. You said that twice, George, but that's really cool being in a city like that, to have some of your the top teams, your pro teams being in this thing. That's pretty cool.
Well, the Rangers have been waiting on the Knicks because the Rangers have been pretty good, and they've had a lot of these opportunities to host late playoff games. Now the Knicks are back up there with them, and it's even better.
The other series in the East is a rematch of an incredibly bitter loss for the Bruins. Bruins won the regular season a year ago with the most wins in the regular season in NHL history, and didn't get out of the first round because of the Panthers. Now the Panthers have home ice in a best of 7. Boston, you could hear the sigh of relief all the way in Paducah. I mean, Saturday night, you could feel the tension in that building. I got a chance to see most of it. And, as it stayed 0-0, one of two things is going to happen tonight. Boston is so relieved to be rid of Toronto that they go into Florida and get boat raced, or they win the game. It's going to be one or the other. I don't know which one, but there's revenge on the Bruins side. The problem is Florida may be the better team.
Yeah, I mean they're so well coached. Their defense is better than the Bruins. I mean they can skate. I mean, you watch the Panthers, throw that Panthers-Bruins game on, Kelly, just watch the Panthers. I mean, that's a fun team to watch. It's going to be tough for Boston. They do have that motivation, though. I mean, after choking last year, Swayman, is that their goalie for Boston, George? I mean, he's going to have to stand on his head pretty much all series if they want to win, I think.
That's a huge deal too, George and Billy. I didn't realize just listening to some of the Predators guys and reading, the last couple of weeks, how intense the first round of the playoffs is because there's so much pressure. And just like you talked about Boston with doing what they did last year, and they lost in the first round, and now, they just had a tough series in their first series against Toronto. So maybe all that's just a relief for those guys, and they can just go out and just play now because they, obviously the Boston Bruins are pretty good, but so is Florida. So it's kind of like the NBA, man. You just want good series.
So interesting in the West that the NHL threw Vancouver a bone, and that series won't start until Wednesday night. I think it's in Vancouver. Let me make sure that it is. So Vancouver has the home advantage. Edmonton has the two big stars, Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl. I just think it's too much. I don't think Vancouver is at that level.
This is going to be good. I mean, you've got two teams that can absolutely skate. We just saw it with the Canucks. Feels like the Oilers are the better team, but I mean, Quinn Hughes is pretty good too, and the Canucks have depth. And Seelovs, Kelly, you talked about it. Don't sleep on him. Staying hot. If you talk about in the NHL all the time. If a team wins the cup, they had a goalie get hot, and he kind of helped carry him. I mean, he's a rookie, and I wouldn't sleep on him if I'm the Oilers. And he's hot right now. Like you said, just ride with him. This is going to be tough. I think this probably goes at least 6, maybe even 7.
Guys, Edmonton didn't have a 7-game series, though, did they? I mean, they didn't take it to 7th game, right?
No, they won in 5 against the
in 5. So they've had a long layoff.
Yeah.
I mean, how do y'all think that'll affect them? I mean, do they have an experienced team? Because sometimes when you get in those situations, you have a long layoff, as we've seen in football. It don't go over too well. And
Right.
Vancouver had a hard series against Nashville. So, how does that work with those two teams?
I would guess, first of all, with Edmonton, that the week off they probably like, because I think this is a grind. This NHL thing is a big old grind. Now, I don't doubt that sometime over the weekend, Edmonton had a Donnybrook of an inter-squad scrimmage to try to replicate the real speed of a game. But my guess is that they'll be happy that they had the week off. When teams get that in April or May, when they get upwards of a week, I mean, it's like gold, or they treat it like gold.
Yeah,
because this is a grind.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like the NFL, I don't think, where, if you get that bye and you get that extra week, you're praising the heavens. Well, I mean, I don't know. In the NHL, I guess you do want – there's part of it you want to stay hot. You want to kind of keep rolling, not have too much time off. But it is such a grind. I mean, they've got to be sitting there saying, thank you for this.
Yeah, and when y'all are talking about this, I'm sitting here thinking, because I don't know if y'all have ever done the numbers on this, but when you play in an NFL game, do you know how many minutes you actually are actually doing a play? Do y'all know how many minutes it is?
Yeah, it's like 16 minutes, isn't it?
No, it's under 6. It's like 8 minutes.
Yeah, it's
that you're
ridiculous.
actually doing something. And then if you look at the NHL, it's got to be the most taxing professional sport in sports, because those guys never stop moving. They're always doing something. And that's why they have to have shifts. But I was just sitting here thinking about that when y'all were talking how taxing it is on you. And I don't think there's any other sport. I mean, the NBA, they run a bunch, but they can jog. But in the NHL, man, you're going full speed almost all the time. It's crazy.
It's ridiculous.
The last series in the West feels like it goes 7. Dallas, by the hair of their chinny chin chin, got to round 2 against Vegas. You all watched it last night. It was a terrific game.
Yeah.
And now they get a Colorado team that a weird beginning to the series against Winnipeg. That was that 7-6 game. But from the end of that game till the end of that series, they completely controlled Winnipeg. This feels like a 7-game series to me.
It does. And, the Avs are hot right now, too. I mean, at the end of that series, that you could tell they had Winnipeg's number despite losing game 1. But what's interesting about Dallas is that their offensive production against Vegas was not very good. They averaged 2.2 goals per game, which was 5th worst among all playoff teams. But they managed, like you said, they managed to get past the Knights. And you got to get the puck to bounce your way, and it felt like the Stars did there. And they've got home ice here, so I feel like the Stars could make a run here. I mean, I enjoy. They're kind of my team right now that I'm rooting for.
Good uniforms.
Yeah.
Okay, so those are where the two professional playoff things stand right now. Kelly, after the break, as you know, I am committed to making people money.
You're committed to excellence. Who are you, Al Davis Jr.?
I used to do that. It was commitment to empty seats. When he moved to Los Angeles, there was a lot of that. And so I kind of changed the moniker. Well, after the break, I intend to start making you money. Of course, I've said that before. Yes. We'll see if this is any different. It's coming up next.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
It was the most horrible experience that any mother could ever go through. I knew that I needed to get help. My friend, she immediately said, "You need to call Bart Durham." And you guys were there within an hour. You guys are like family for us.
Yeah, sure is nice to connect with the people that you're doing your best to help.
As some of you may already know, we're making some changes in our programming. Simply put, beginning Monday, May the 21st, and yes, that date did have to change, we will go into a 4 to 6 p.m. time slot to do this podcast, but we will also simulcast it on radio on 95.9 FM. And for those of you who watch in the Rutherford, Williamson County area, on 107.9 as well. The purpose of this is very simple. I want to be able to take phone calls. While I've enjoyed the podcast format, I have greatly missed the fact that I'm not able to talk to you all. And I don't feel like I have quite the pulse that I used to for that reason. If you go back through my 30 years as a broadcaster, I always enjoyed taking phone calls. I'm looking forward to getting back to that. So mark the date, Monday, May the 21st, 4 to 6 p.m., and thanks for all the support.
Looking for more than just awards and trophies? Southern Trophy House is your one-stop solution. For over 60 years, their team has created lasting impressions with a personalized touch. From embroidery to screen printed apparel to corporate awards, signs, and name badges, they have everything you need to keep your brand shining bright. With their knowledgeable customer service team, you can relax as they create, produce, pack, and ship merchandise and awards on time and on budget. That includes etched crystal awards, custom cut acrylic, name badges, embroidered Richardson ball caps, banners, screen printed t-shirts, laser engraved Yeti cups, and knives. Recognize your hardworking team from Southern Trophy House, where they do their best to help you recognize your best. Located at 2705 Nolensville Pike in Nashville, give them a holler, 615-256-7295. Visit southerntrophy.com. Southern Trophy House, for all your personalization and recognition needs.
There we go. Final segment on a Monday. We've got one NHL game tonight. Bruins at the Panthers, game one of that series. Pacers are at the Knicks tonight. T-Wolves at the Nuggets. We'll see where George is going. It's brought to you by Bart Durham Injury Law. Give him a call, 615-242-9000, or log on to bartdurham.com. But first, we got to take a look back at, I guess, what, Thursday?
Yep.
We're these games? 0-2.
Oh, God. Let's move on. Good Lord.
Ooh, this is getting ugly.
It is getting
I don't give the folks much confidence in your picks there, George.
No, but I've got confidence in my picks.
Okay.
So tonight, we are going home teams for reasons that I think are fairly obvious. The Knicks will get a big Garden audience. These are two totally different styles. The Knicks want to grind it out with Jalen Brunson. Indiana wants to just fly all over the place. I think it's easier to dictate tempo if you're the slower team. You can take it down to a snail's pace, and I don't think Indiana's used to that. I don't think they're ready for it, and I think the Garden crowd is going to be the difference. Dun, dun.
Dun, dun.
Dun, dun.
I need to find that and play that.
It's awesome. We're taking the Knicks tonight at the Garden against Indy. Okay, game 2 becomes simply, in my mind, must win. I know these two don't agree with that, and I'm not saying that Denver can't win a road game in Minnesota, but I don't think they're winning 2 in a row up there, so they better win tonight. To be real honest about Denver, they have not played the kind of basketball in these playoffs that won them the world title a year ago. They lived to tell about it against the Lakers, although barely. Well, all of a sudden, Minnesota, they're better than the Lakers. They've got the talent to go toe-to-toe with Denver, and Denver better get a huge night out of Nikola Jokic if they're going to tie this thing at 1-1. And I think they are, and I think they're going to win outright. Okay, we talked about the hockey earlier. I think Florida tonight will catch a Boston team that's in la-la land. We got rid of Toronto. We got the monkey off our back. We're in the second round. Florida's going to say, great, we're your daddy. You like that?
I like it.
Good.
Where did you get that phrase? Is that like, how long have we been saying this phrase? We're your daddy.
Way too long.
Good gracious. Like 30 years ago, 40 years ago, which one was it?
Probably 40.
We're your daddy.
We're your daddy. Anyway, Florida can kind of say that until Boston beats them. I do think this is going to be a terrific series, but just not tonight. I think Florida wins and wins fairly one-sidedly. Boston, I think they're just in too much of a celebration mode after disposing of Toronto. You think about it, your whole season comes down to an overtime, and you're fortunate enough a minute and a half into OT to pull it off and go, whew. You know,
Yeah, seriously.
there was a collective sigh of something in Boston.
Yeah. Florida's really good too.
Florida's really good. That's the problem. Okay, out of here. Tony Basilio tomorrow. We'll get into the Tennessee Vanderbilt series this weekend here in Nashville and other things as well. Stick around. We'll see you tomorrow.